Discover St. Michael's Lent, its history, recommended practices, specific prayers, and guidance on when and how to observe it. From the moment we are born until our final breath, we can rely on the presence and support of angels. Created by God as spiritual beings, they are always ready to assist us when we call upon them in faith. The Church holds special celebrations for some of these angels, especially St. Michael the Archangel. Among Catholics, there is also a devotion known as St. Michael's Lent, a time of prayer and seeking protection through the intercession of this powerful archangel. In this video, you'll learn about the origin of this devotion, the recommended practices, traditional prayers, and how and when to observe it. During St. Michael's Lent, we engage in spiritual warfare against evil spirits and their temptations. Prayer is the vital expression of a renewed heart. Spiritual leaders often stress the importance of prayer as a continual remembrance of God, pray without ceasing. However, maintaining constant prayer requires a conscious commitment to set aside specific times for voluntary prayer. St. Michael's Lent is a prime example of this devotion, a special 40-day period within the Catholic tradition dedicated to St. Michael the Archangel. Throughout this time, the faithful are encouraged to deepen their devotional practices, seeking the protection and intercession of St. Michael through special prayers and invocations. This devotion lasts 40 days, from August 15th to September 29th, the feast day of St. Michael, with prayers offered every day except Sundays. During this period, Catholics unite in a spiritual journey aimed at strengthening their faith and receiving divine protection through the powerful intercession of St. Michael. The prayer to St. Michael is considered a private devotion, which means its practice is not mandatory within the Catholic Church due to its personal nature. Popular and personal devotions play an important role in the spiritual life of the faithful, but they do not form part of the Church's official liturgical obligations. These devotions offer a way for believers to express their faith and devotion more intimately, even though they are not incorporated into the Church's formal liturgy. Different Christian spiritualities participate in the living tradition of prayer and serve as valuable guides for the spiritual life. Therefore, the prayer to St. Michael, like other private devotions, is not a required duty, but the faithful are free to embrace it as an expression of their personal devotion. The spiritual realm is an unseen dimension that exists alongside the material world. It is inhabited by spiritual beings such as angels and demons, who influence the connection between the divine and humanity. At the center of the angelic world is Christ. Angels, dwelling in this spiritual dimension, serve as God's messengers and helpers, assisting the Church on its earthly journey and protecting all people. They represent an invisible reality that operates alongside our physical world. Demons, on the other hand, are spiritual beings who rebelled against God and continue to spread evil. Led by Satan, they play a role in opposing goodness and tempting humans. The temptation of Jesus in the desert highlights this interaction between the spiritual realm and human experience. In summary, there is a dynamic interaction between the spiritual world and visible humanity, with spiritual forces actively influencing our lives. Understanding this invisible dimension is essential for a full comprehension of Christian faith and life. Prayer holds a vital role in this context, as the spiritual battle of the Christian's new life is inseparable from the battle of prayer. The origin of St. Michael's Lent is closely connected to the penitential life of St. Francis of Assisi, as well as his awareness of a spiritual gap between Lent and Advent. St. Francis, known for his deep spirituality and close relationship with nature, observed that there was a kind of spiritual pause between these two important penitential seasons in the liturgical calendar. Lent is a time dedicated to reflection and penance in preparation for Easter, while Advent is a season of anticipation and preparation for Christmas. However, the period between these two significant liturgical moments did not have a specific devotion attached to it. After his conversion, St. Francis joined the Order of Penitents, who practiced public penance. It was during the 40 days leading up to the feast of St. Michael the Archangel that St. Francis practiced his greatest mortifications. In fact, biographers believe that it was during this time that he received the holy stigmata. St. Michael's Lent lasts for 40 days, beginning on August 15th and concluding on September 29th, which is the feast day of St. Michael the Archangel. During this period, prayers are traditionally offered every day except Sundays. This devotion invites the faithful to a focused time of spiritual strengthening and seeking the protection of St. Michael. During the observance of St. Michael's Lent, there are several practices you can adopt to deepen your devotion. One meaningful step is to set up an altar dedicated to St. Michael, featuring a statue or image of the Archangel. This altar becomes a special place of prayer, a visual focus that helps guide your devotional time. Lighting a blessed candle is another symbolic act, representing the light of Christ. Additionally, offering a personal penance, a small sacrifice made out of love for Jesus, is a common practice in private devotions. Begin your prayer time by making the sign of the cross, followed by the opening prayer and the litany of St. Michael the Archangel, both of which are deeply enriching. The opening prayer is traditionally the one composed by Pope Leo XIII. St. Michael Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl through the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. Since this is a personal devotion, those who observe it have the freedom to choose the prayers they prefer. However, the following prayers offer a helpful guide for the faithful to select which ones to include, and some may choose to pray them all daily. While St. Michael's Lent is traditionally observed daily from August 15th to September 29th, it can also be practiced at any other time of the year. The traditional prayers often prayed during St. Michael's Lent include the Sign of the Cross, the Little Exorcism of Pope Leo XIII, the Litany of St. Michael the Archangel, the Consecration to St. Michael the Archangel, the Final Prayer, the Prayer, Augusta Regina, August Queen. These prayers form a powerful spiritual routine that helps deepen the devotion and seek protection through St. Michael's intercession. I invite you to join me in this special devotion starting on August 15th. Together, let's dedicate these 40 days to strengthen our faith, seek protection, and grow closer to St. Michael the Archangel through prayer. We will meet daily to pray and reflect. I will be posting the devotion videos every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. May this journey bring peace, courage, and divine protection into your life. Peace of Jesus and the love of Mary be with you.